Am I on?
Yeah.
Working? Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming. I think it was a bit similar to Tuesday's meeting in that there's a few less of you here today because of the convoy going out. So we're going to try and get through a few things. I'm going to throw over to David so he can give you guys an indication of what's going on through the ICC, and then we'll go to the agencies, and then we'll come back and questions, of course, to anyone you need to ask questions to. So we've had a pretty good day. Also, it's been quite a difficult day, and we are just trying to work our heads around what the next process is and what the next step is going to be, and we're waiting for direction from above us for that to happen. So I'll throw over to David, and he can tell you about what's being achieved and what we're doing.
Thanks, Leah, for that. Everyone right? They can hear me all right? Yes. So no worries at all. So thank you again for having us here, and I think it's great to see so many people in a public meeting, we really do enjoy your feedback. It's fantastic to see people in the street and provide that positive feedback to us, so thank you very much for that. So what's been happening today, just from what Leah was saying, is that road access has been assessed by Vic Roads. So they're assessing all the bridges and all the posts and all the signs, and once that has been signed off by the incident controller at Orbost, then they'll look at certainly trying to reduce the access to the public, but that's going to take some time. They're actually doing that now all the way from Orbost, all the way down through here to Mallacoota, and also out to the border. Just a couple other things too. We've had some wildlife assessors out in the environment, and they're certainly doing a great deal of work for the wildlife and the environment, and we're working with them to transport some of those injured animals, and trying to look after the environment as well. So that's fantastic there. CFA have got a strike team here. So CFA have got 20 personnel to look after the local community and also to support the local brigade. So the local brigade is doing a fantastic job, and we've brought in 20 extra firefighters for the next 3 days to support the local brigade in the community. So you'll see a lot more fire trucks driving around, but just be aware they're on the road, and so just be careful and be safe from that. I'll just also, that'll probably do it for me. I will now, if there's any questions, yep. That's a very, very good question. I like your wording, and can I use it? Maybe. So the question is around obviously telling us that the question is about assessing the roads and the bridges. So we may be getting closer to opening the road. As Rod said yesterday, and Leah said it as well, we don't have any time frames, so I can't give you exact and pinpoint it down, but we do know that Vic Roads have engineers and ADF are supporting us in that process, and they're taking them out through the vehicles, because it is still unsafe for any other vehicles to go through there, except for the ADF and the majors here, and he'll have a chat in a minute about that, what they're doing. So yes, there may be, but no time frame. I cannot say tomorrow, 3 days, 6 days, but we're working really hard, and they've got lots of crews out there. They've got forest fire management, they've got the big forest, they've got Vic Roads out there now, because it's all about the public safety. So the public safety is really, really important. So that's all happening, and I'll get the major to talk about that little project in a minute. Is there any other questions for me? No, I'll throw over to Leah. Go from there. I'll bring up Mark, just to give you an update where the fire's at and the situation of the fire, if that's okay with you. Yeah. So Mark, I'll hand over to Mark Operations.
Good evening, everyone. Mark O'Connor. So the fire that I spoke about yesterday afternoon, Wallagra, it's south of the Burgess track. So crews that were there till about 11:30 last night. They're back there today doing a bit of raking over and putting out. So that fire is under control. Our crews have been with the dozers, putting tracks around properties, making sure the local community is safe up there. So that's all done with. As David said, we've got a strike team in, so the guys and ladies have crewed the appliances that were left here by the previous strike team, giving the local volunteers a rest for a couple of days. Let them have a break because this is just the beginning of the fire season. They'll also, you'll see them driving around. We've told them to have a presence and to make themselves known to the community. So if you want to stop and talk to them, or if you need any assistance from them, by all means ask them, and they'll be more than willing to help. Other activities going around the area. So once again, today they went out to Gypsy Point just to support that community as well. So they're out there currently, introducing themselves and just telling them who they are, why they're here and what they're doing. We're trying not to tread on people's toes. We're not here to take over from those local crews. We're just trying to support them and give them a break so they can have a couple of days rest and be recharged, and then they can take back over again in the future. But thanks for your time.
So I might come in now with just a few things that I know. I just was made aware as I walked into the hall this afternoon that there's no Red Cross here just at the moment. They've got some fatigue and welfare issues and they've been stood down, but the replacement team has not been able to get in. I don't have any more details on that other than what I was just told then. So I think there are certainly some of the volunteers who were asked to, or stood down, for want of a better word. It's not because they don't want to, it's because we've got some issues and we're trying to manage, or Red Cross are trying to manage that, and as soon as we can get the new crew in, we will. Like I said, I found that out just as I walked in the door. I was not even aware of that. I've heard about some issues out at Can River. We had a shipment of a shipment of food and stuff go out there, and we are aware that they need more, and we're going to make that happen. So we've got. They certainly sent a heap of stuff out there this morning. I think there was a supply that went down to Genoa and Gypsy Point yesterday afternoon, and I know that they're still wanting stuff, and now we're trying to get some information on specifically what they need so that we can get that stuff down there. And I've had a chat to some of the locals down there, and I feel like we're doing all right there. And Can River, we are absolutely looking after down there as well. I think today's been quite a changeover day with a lot of staff. It seems to be that a lot of people are going out and new teams are coming in, and there's more new faces that everybody has to meet. And I've only been here for 2 days, and we've got different people. So I guess I'm trying to adjust to this as well, and I'm hoping that everyone is doing okay. And if you're not, come up and have a chat, and we'll try to sort of work out, you know, where we can send you in new people's names and stuff like that. If people are wanting names for contacts and stuff like that, we'll try to make that stuff available, because I know this is really, really difficult for you guys. We are flying in and flying out, and we're not locals. A lot of us are not locals. And I appreciate that that's really difficult for you to have to then speak to me when you've just been speaking to Rod Finlay, and previously you've been speaking to Glenn Owens, and then somebody else is going to come in after me. And I guess I just want to say from our point of view, it's quite difficult as well, and we're really trying hard. And if there's any concerns through the community with anything that you want to raise with us, please come and see us, because we're doing our best to try and accommodate everything within reason and within our powers here, because we are, you know, we're still seeking direction from a state level, and the information that we're trying to get to you is what we've got at the time, but remembering that also that things are changing really quickly. You know, we've got planes flying, we don't have planes flying. We've got this happening, no, we don't have that happening. Something's over here and something here. And it's very, you know, although we're trying to come out here and say we know exactly what's going on, the reality is we don't, and we're getting the information, and as we're getting it, we're hoping that it's getting out to you in a good form, and that it's easy enough for you to understand. So if there's any issues with that, please come and let me know. That's not a question. Yeah, please come and let us know, because I think we're all trying to adjust, and you're going to have a new crew in here, and that's so hard for you guys. So I really appreciate that. But just in answer to your question, are we any closer to the roads opening? Every day that goes past is a day closer to the roads opening, whatever date that may be that they open. So I think every day that goes past, there is a lot of progress being made. I think if we could have, 4 meetings a day to get you all the information that we've got coming to hand, it'd be great. But we got a heap of information yesterday afternoon, and that's changed, and then it's back on the table. So I think we're just all really trying really hard to get some definite answers for you, which is really hard because people aren't giving us definites. And that's just unfortunately the way it's rolling at the moment. And are there any questions in relation to that at the moment? Yeah?
We totally appreciate what you guys are doing.
I feel a little bit emotional, and that was a thank you. We appreciate what you're doing, and that's an amazing sentiment because make no mistake, I can absolutely appreciate how hard you guys are travelling at the moment and how difficult it is for you as locals who are going to be here for the foreseeable future and ongoing into the next couple of years where it's going to be even more difficult and you're going to face challenges, and in the short term we're trying to make that as easy as possible as we can for you. So please rest assured that as soon as we get information we will feed it out to you as we can, and I don't want to give you promises that I then can't keep. So I'd love to come in and say, yep, that road through to the west is going to be open next weekend, but like, if I say that, you're all going to come after me because it's not going to happen. No, that was not a promise. That was not a promise. Yeah, so I think, and I know that this is, it feels like it's a bit of a transition time. We are transitioning from a response to a recovery. And we're currently still in response, and we are trying to get it into recovery because what we want to achieve and what everybody wants to achieve is that the residents come back. And I think that is the number one priority for everybody at the moment, is trying to make this place as safe as we possibly can without dumping people into an environment that we can't deal with because we don't have the resources here to deal with it. We don't have the safety here to deal with it, and we don't have the flow-on effect that and the resources here to take that if everybody comes back. Yes.
Two questions.
Yes.
How's your priorities 1, 2, 3 to Eden for people to come back?
So as in what we were talking about yesterday, yep.
And also the next convoy outage.
Okay, so the question was, how are the priorities in getting people in and out, basically? So those are still the priorities, and we've still been receiving information that the priorities are the same. So reuniting families who have a place to come back to, then bringing in residents, and then getting stuff out. So they have, to my knowledge, that has not changed, and that is discussions that are happening way higher than at a state level. So my understanding is that hasn't changed, and that is still what we're working to achieve. The timeline on that is, again, if it was me, I'd like you in yesterday, but it's not me. The going out, same thing. It's still the priority. So they haven't changed as far as I know. Saturday. So so we're still running with that as it was first done every second day. Okay. So we're still that is our plan. And I think we like to say, and I say we a lot, and I mean us as a collective group of agencies, is we like to say yes, that's going to happen, and we do, but everything, like I said, is so dynamic that things are changing, and if something arises, maybe we have to change that plan. But at this stage, we're still going to run with the every second day convoys because that's been approved and that's happening, and we're running it and it's working to the best of my knowledge, unless anyone's got an issue who wants to come and raise it with me, and then I can try and address it. Any other questions from me just about that? No. So I've just got a good win though, is that we've organised gas to come in. All right, so we've organised, and we are absolutely hopeful that tomorrow morning, I'm told that from the time we deliver it to the time that it can be up at the TMP up in New South Wales is hopefully about 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Whatever it is that has to happen to make that come in, we'll get the gas in, because I know that there's a couple of shops down the street who are really running low on gas, and there's no gas at the service stations, and I can say that that's a win, and that will happen at this stage. At 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, we will bring that in and hopefully get the gas around to everybody. So that's a really good move. Oh, hopefully a good news story. Yeah.
I went to the petrol station
Yeah.
at Shell,
Yeah.
and they said I'm still only allowed $50 worth of petrol.
I'll have to check that because I haven't heard that. Oh, sorry. So the question was, I've gone to the Shell service station and I'm told I'm only allowed $50 worth of petrol.
Correct.
So I haven't heard that. See, I think there's a lot of stuff that's kind of not coming back to us, and if I don't know about it, I can't sort of deal with it, or I can't make somebody else deal with it. I haven't heard that. So we'll... Sorry, yeah. So the comment was if you go to Pete's, there's no limit. But we'll check that because I think trying to decipher what's coming through as being correct or not is hard.
I just wanted to know, I know we can get unleaded fuel.
Yep.
And at Pete's it's the diesels for the emergency services.
Yep.
Do we know whether the Shell is actually selling diesel to...
I'll find out. So the question was, do we know if...
We got diesel the other day. If you're staying in town, $20 limit. If you're going in a convoy, you can have $50.
So the question was, can we get diesel if we're not an emergency service? And the response was, yes, you can. $20 worth of diesel
If you're staying in town.
if you're staying in town.
If you're going out in the convoy, $50.
If you're going out in the convoy, 50.
That was a couple of days ago. Right, I don't know if that's changed.
Yep.
Thank you.
Logistics to get on it. So pick it up for us.
Anything else at the moment? No, I think that's about it from me for now. I'm going to throw over to AV and they'll take you through what they're working on.
Hi guys, I'm back again, sorry.
Is it better?
I'm gonna break. Technology. Yay! Hi guys, I'm back. Thanks for putting up with me earlier, and I've had a nice little sleep, so back on the track again. Just letting you know in ways of the health here at the moment. So same message as always. Please make sure you've got your masks with you. On a day like today, it's actually quite clear, so you can sort of have a bit of a respite if you want. It's a nice, good breeze going through there. Maybe air your house out a little bit if you can. Just get that staleness out of the air. What we're doing at the moment and behind the scenes is that we're going to look at, as we transition into this recovery phase, we're looking at the mental health and everybody's welfare as a whole. So at the moment, on the state and the federal levels, we're working, they're looking at providing trained psychologists and crisis counsellors. Now, once they've identified the demand of the community and of our returning community, we will be able to then allocate these resources as appropriate. Once we know what we've got coming, we'll be able to let you know where they're going to set up. Okay? Then you can be able to go and have a chat to these guys, talk through any issues that you've got that you need to talk through, and hopefully we can all come to a nice, good, happy medium. Okay? So there are some services available at the moment. You'll know through the health centre, MDHSS, which is up at the top end of town. They've got a counsellor there. But what we're trying to do is look at some specialist counsellors coming in to help us through all this crisis. Okay? I have a message from Terry, and please don't shoot me. He has confirmed that the dentists are on the manifest for Monday. So I'm going to put a challenge to him. If they're not here, I'm going to get him to get on his boat and go down there and get them. What do you reckon? Yeah? Okay, so that's one of the things. Talked about the air quality. Everybody got masks. Everybody replacing their masks on a regular basis. We are still short of our masks. With that, I just ask you just to take one if you can.
There are none. Leo, sorry.
Yeah.
Leo from the SES has just dropped another 60 here.
There you go.
So if you need to grab one on the way
Yep.
out, just grab one.
So grab some on the way out if you need them, and make sure you rotate them around. If you're feeling a little bit the effects of the atmosphere at the moment, the MDHSS, up the top there, the health centre, has the scrubbers going, the air scrubbers. Now I went in there and it was like a breath of fresh air. God, trust me. So if you want to go up there and just sit out and chill out for an hour or two and breathe some actually clean air, by all means get up there and have a go. I did ask about whether we could take our pets in there. I didn't get a reply, so... There was a dog, there you go. So maybe, you know, if your dog's well behaved or something on a lead, go and give them a bit of a breath of fresh air as well. With our recovery and all that, you've got some counsellors around. We've also got the pastoral care guys too. I forgot to mention them. So you'll see them around. I think the police chaplain's over there. All right, quite a jolly little fellow. He loves to have a chat. So yeah, go and say hello to him if you like. And also let me reiterate that, please, if you're passing the any of the branches, the police branch or the ambulance branch or even the CFA, drop in and say hello. All right, we're always up there. There's somebody there now having a chat, and they might be able to answer you some questions. On the other side, up at the MDHSS as well, you've got the leaflets. Sorry, I'm all over the place. We've got leaflets available. So if you've got some concerns about moving forward, your tank, your water tank, right, they've got a whole range of good leaflets, how to look after mental health care, how to look after, hang on, I think there's about 8 of them or 10 of them. So, you know, bushfire aftermath, you know, ash in our water tanks, trauma in children, tips for your parents. Okay, bushfires, your health and bushfires. Support care bases as well, survival traumatic events. So even though we're going to look at transitioning, there's still a lot of healing for us to do. So as a community, I ask you just to probably be a little bit proactive in this area and maybe go up and start educating yourself on what's available. The Department of Health Services are up there. They can give you some really good information. Okay? All you have to do is ask. Any questions? Yep.
We were advised yesterday that there would be health checks available here from 3 o'clock before today's meeting, but I understand it didn't happen.
Oh, okay, guys. So the question was that you were advised yesterday that at 3 o'clock there would be some health checks here. I did drive past the CFA station as I was coming down here. They have a whole lot of CFA strike teams in at the moment, so they may be tied up, and I will follow up with them and make sure that they do come down before the meetings, or if it might have to change their times if the strike teams are doing a transfer over. Okay? Oh, yeah. Okay, any other questions? All right, thanks very much for your cooperation. Thanks for coming down today, by the way, too. Really appreciate it. I know we don't sort of give the all the information, sort of some of it you might have heard a couple of times, but we're here to help you and we're trying to work with you guys to making our community better. All right, thanks very much.
So I'm going to just jump in quickly talking about getting information to you as it comes to hand. We just received a document from the State Control Centre to be released to the community. So this is the reunification... Sorry. Oh no, I've got it. This is the reunification and residential supported return. And I'm going to quote it because it's an official document that's come down from me. That way... So we understand that people want to return to their properties and communities as soon as possible, especially those who have been evacuated and want to be reunited with their families. Emergency services are working to make this happen as soon as it is safe to do so. In some areas, active bushfires mean that this is not yet an option, while the aftermath of a bushfire can be just as dangerous as the fire itself, with the risk of falling trees and impacts to critical services. For communities that are expected to be isolated due to closed roads for longer periods of time, emergency services are working on alternative arrangements to reunite families and get the residents back to their homes. This includes Mallacoota, Genoa, Gypsy Point and communities in the nearby area. So I think this is a specific document for our little region here. From tomorrow, residents and property owners wanting to return to these communities will be able to register their interest to return with emergency services assistance. To ensure timely and safe return of people into these isolated communities, a staged return will be undertaken, and this will ensure families can be reunited and homeowners can be returned to their properties as a priority. The registration's phone line will be activated from tomorrow morning, and the details of this phone line will be available, which I don't have at the moment. The many visitors, for visitor return, the many visitors who have left behind important belongings, including boats, caravans and vehicles, will be supported to return when it is safe to do so. This will take more time, as the priority is being able to support residents to return to their communities in the first instance. Many visitors will need the safe road access to collect their belongings. So hopefully that's come down from the State Control Centre. I'm going to anticipate now that we're all going to run off and make some phone calls and try and get some more information on this, but it looks to me like the process is going to start tomorrow, at least with registration of people who are wanting to return, and that hopefully can happen from tomorrow morning with phone lines being activated. So I reckon that's an incredible, thank God we've got some direction. So I think that's really good. So hopefully that process will be up and running. I'm going to imagine that we're going to be getting some information coming down to us as to how we can support that from in here, and also try and tie it in with people who aren't here. We'll see how that looks like when it comes down. I've also just been briefed that at this stage the Police Minister will be coming to town with the Chief Commissioner Graham Ashton, and also the CFO Chief will be coming tomorrow. We haven't had firm itinerary details on that. My understanding at this stage is it's going to be between 11:30 and 3:30. Trying to remember everything. I think I'm doing okay. Between 11:30 and 3:30. Again, I don't have any details, but I think that's something that we're going to make available as soon as we get it. Soon as and again, I'm going to stress at this stage, it wasn't at this stage because they can't fly in, and we don't know how she's. What the contingency plan of getting her here is if she can't fly in. So that's a watch this space, but we're expecting that will happen. And hopefully she's going to be doing a tour of the town and speaking to the agency heads that are in town. But as I said, with everything, nothing is guaranteed at the moment, and it's quite frustrating, but we're working around that. So as soon as I find out, news coming to hand, we'll get it out to you. Are there any questions on that? Yes? On anything?
Okay, we've been running on generator power now for quite a while. Is
Yeah.
there any idea when we'll actually get the lines running back and down to...
I know... I'll throw over. So the question was, we've been running on generator power now for a period of time. Is there any, do we have a time frame around getting mains power back on? Or to that effect?
Yeah. Okay, so we have AusNet, SP AusNet in the division. So they brought in a whole lot of crews yesterday. They brought a whole lot of infrastructure in yesterday as well. They also brought a whole lot of people in to assess all of the damage around the lines. So once they've done that assessment, then obviously they'll need to see how they go about putting it back on the grid. They've also put in another generator to have a redundancy for what you've got going at the moment. So SP AusNet haven't given us a time frame, but they certainly are part of the emergency management team, and they're putting a lot of emphasis on getting this this town and these isolated communities back onto the mains power. So I don't have an exact time for you, but as soon as I do, it's one of the things that we'll get out to everyone through the community as well. So there's a lot of infrastructure being put in behind it. We're flying fuel in. I think we're still trucking the fuel in. So the power is being increased by AusNet, and they're telling us that as well. And you can see that they're around town and they're doing lots of work to ensure that they can put it back onto the grid. So I hope that helps, sir. But it was likely, I can't give you a time frame again. So but we'll keep you updated. Is that okay?
I know it's frustrating, yes.
How do you get hold of this phone number to register?
As I said, I don't have the information of what that literally came in just then as we were having as I finished my wrap up. As soon as I have a phone number, I will get it to whoever I can get it to get it out onto the Facebook. Have you got a suggestion? Can you give me a suggestion of where everybody can get it? The newsletter, the local radio. We'll get it. We'll make it happen. The post office. We will get it out because as soon as we get that phone number, we'll get that out onto. If we have to walk around there and stick that number onto whatever power poles are left in town, that's what we'll do. Make no mistake, we'll get it to you. Every notice board. I think we can probably rally to get this. Thank you.
Community safety people, liaison will get that out through there.
Brilliant. Brilliant. That's what we'll do. I think if maybe at the end of the meeting, if you can give me all your points of contact for that, I'll get them onto every point of contact.
Sorry, Leah. Maria will do that for Leah. So Maria, stand up, please. Thank you. So Maria, come and take the suggestions. If you'd give them all to her, she'll get them. In fact,
just talk to Eva, really. Just talk to Eva. She's got a figure on all that stuff. That's her job.
Yeah. I'm just excited that finally we've had a. I'm just excited that finally we've had something firm that's come down and I can read it out to you and say it's going to start tomorrow and there's a phone number. Yep. So we're going to put a sign on. We're going to put it on the roundabout. It'll be everywhere. Don't worry about that. Any other questions? Because I think. Yep.
Thank you. I know you've just got this document, but are you thinking that once registered family members and residents would then be joining an incoming convoy from Eden? And do you think you might do any extra convoys or just stick to the 2 days?
So the question is, once it's underway, is the convoy going to come from Eden and how they're going to do it? My understanding at this particular point is that they're going to fly people in stages. So fly. I think this will be a very structured process that will come down as a very, very structured process. There will be a staging point, I would imagine, for the residents coming back. There will be a particular way that they come back in, and then there will be people to greet them when they come off whatever mode of transport it is that they're coming off. So and I think around mental health and welfare is that there is no way we're going to dump people into this without actually having some idea of what they're getting brought into, without actually having a plan in place to give these people what they need before they come back. So I'm going to suggest that it will be absolutely structured and that people who register, however that looks, I'm going to say people are going to be coming in. They're going to be funneled into a place where they can speak to people. There's going to be social services there. There's going to be people there. And then they're going to bring them into town. As soon as I have that, I'll give it to you and I'll tell you how it's going to happen. I would suggest that at a higher level that there's plans being made and finalised and formalised and waiting to be executed once it is safe to do so. Once we can do it, we're going to do it. And I think that I've had some fairly robust conversations with people and I've expressed views and I think things are obviously starting to happen. And I would like to hope that, in this dynamic environment it happens quickly. As quickly as they possibly can without putting people at risk of coming in here and then them falling apart.
Just had a quick chat to Eva over here. She's saying that she's got the community groups emails, and once we know the process, we'll give it to Eva and she'll disseminate that throughout every of the community groups as well. So it's another form of communication. So, good work. Sorry.
All right, I think, is there anything else, any other questions of us, any of us agencies at the moment? Yes?
Is the army Jackie going to talk?
They want you to talk.
The question was, is the army going to talk?
Come and introduce yourself. Sorry.
So my name's Matt Slocum. I've come in as the AEF commander for the elements in here. Really for us, it's about supporting you guys, supporting the agencies and so forth, and making sure that you've got what you need. So realistically, from my point of view, what you see from the ADF now is in Mallacoota itself, we're pretty happy with what's happening, but we'll start going back out to other towns and so forth that haven't been reached so far yet, and looking at that. Questions? Have you got questions of the ADF or? No, you got me up to talk, so surely you've got questions.
What are some of the things that you're actually doing on the ground, the army?
So within Mallacoota and so forth at the stage, we're helping with council in terms of clearing board work. You'll see people down there. We're also doing protected mobility lifts, so in terms of getting agencies out to areas, whether that be SB AusNet or whether it's police or whether it's fisheries, wildlife. It just depends on what that is. So we'll continue to do that. We'll also continue to support the influx of people into Mallacoota. That's mostly by airframes, so we'll be on that side of things. And outside of that, we've got a fairly wide AO across the state of Victoria, plus New South Wales, South Australia and so forth. So our remit, I suppose, is pretty big, which of course ADF's pretty big too. So we're doing a lot behind the scenes as well, not just what you see here every day.
So we've seen some pretty cool looking vehicles driving around, haven't we? Oh, yeah. So, how many of you would be dying to stick your head in and have a look at one?
Let's make that.
Thanks for throwing us on the bus or one of the trucks, I suppose. So we'll arrange that. What we'll do is we'll just coordinate. So I won't say we'll try and do that in the next 24 hours, okay? We won't do it straight away. We'll just have to try and tee it up with our task and so forth. Who's the best place to?
You could probably bring one here.
All right, so what we'll do is I'll try and arrange for a vehicle to be down here tomorrow. So after the meeting, we'll have a look through and we'll have some.
Sunday community barbecue.
We had that last time. It was good fun. We had one at the Sunday community barbecue, 1 o'clock.
Okay, so let's wait till Sunday and we'll do it then. How's that sound? Perfect.
Thank you. So, any other questions? Any other issues, concerns, anything else we want to... Yes? Apparently there've been some insurance assessors am I wrong? There are insurance assessors that have been through? Yes. So we're having some insurance assessors come through and I think that's starting to happen. I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you very much, everyone. Again, I'll just reiterate, I appreciate your patience. I think we're all a little bit frustrated and we're all trying to get past that and into the transition phase of recovery, which hopefully looks like it's starting to happen. So thank you so much.
Just briefly, on Sunday at 1 o'clock, like we did last Sunday, Lions barbecue from 1 until 2ish, then from 2 until 4 we're going to have some music and other stuff, yes, so there's posters around town to remind you. I'll see you there.
It's a Saturday, is it? Sunday. Sorry? Sunday.